Rock tumbling can be best described as an art, not an exact science. There are two basic types of tumblers recognized for rock tumbling. The rotary barrel tumbler is often considered the most suitable for tumbling rocks to achieve a highly polished stone. However, this type of tumbler typically takes 4 to 5 weeks to complete the cycle. In the late 1950s, vibratory tumblers were introduced to lapidary hobbyists, where cycles of only 10 to 12 days are needed to fully polish a 3 to 4 pound load. Both styles of tumblers have a minimum of 4 steps to achieve a polished batch of stones. The most common and economical model manufactured by Raytech is the Tumble Vibe 5, offered as a kit or tumbler alone. The starter kit includes the tumbler, 4-step media kit, and a spare bowl reserved for your final polishing. The TV5 tumbler is useful for a variety of finishing applications. The most common use is finishing gemstones, starting with rocks such as agate, quartz, beach pebbles, and seashells, etc. The process entails taking rough material and grinding, shaping the surface of the stones in 2 steps. The third step is the pre-polish step, needed to prepare the surface of the stone for polishing. Once this is done, the material is ready for a final polish in the 4th step. If you have purchased the tumbler only, these instructions can be followed, or you can get instructions from where you purchased the tumbler and media, as some shops have their own style of recipe for finishing stones. First, a couple of cautions prior to setting up your tumbler for your first run-through. Upon opening the box, you will find the tumbler base, 2 bowls, and 2 rubber nuts. Inside the top bowl, you will find the 4 steps of the media clearly labeled by type of grit. The first step is silicon carbide 100-120, which is the coarse grit that will perform the fastest removal, which is required to shape the stone. Step 2 is silicon carbide 700F, which removes scratches and prepares for the pre-polish. Step 3 is Iolox 50, also known as Turkish emery. The fourth and final step is an aluminum oxide Ray Bright TL polish, which is suitable for a wide variety of stone hardness. You are now ready to start your first batch of stones. Take one of the bowls and one of the rubber nuts and thread it securely on the shaft all the way so that after fully tightening, you will see that there is a bulge in the rubber nut. The tension created from the rubber nut prevents the bowl from vibrating loose. The spare bowl should be set aside and used for polishing only to prevent contamination from any of the previous 3 steps. Starting with step 1, put 3 to 4 pounds of the same type of stone in the bowl. Mixed types of stone have different hardnesses and will create problems when it comes to the amount of stone removal. Add 2 teaspoons of silicon carbide 100-120 and 3 to 4 ounces of water. This step should be repeated every 12 hours. A thick mud results from the tumbling process. It is critical to rinse out the stones with warm water, as well as rinsing the bowl at each interval to remove this material. There will be times where the grit will embed in the cracks and crevices and should be cleaned out completely with the aid of a toothbrush or other soft scrub brush. This first step should run for 5 to 10 days, depending on the difficulty in rounding a particular group of stones. Caution: during all 4 steps, if you see the load drying out, keep a spray bottle on hand and spray with water to keep the batch wet. The batch needs only a slurry of grit and water to be effective, and too much water will impede the tumbler action. Step 2 can be started only after the rocks and bowl are fully cleaned to prevent contamination of grit from step 1. Run the second step for 1 to 2 days. Step 3 is a critical step that prepares the stones for final polish. Rinse and thoroughly clean the stones and the bowl, and then add the Iolox media according to the instruction chart. This step should be run for 1 to 2 days, but running a little longer can only help. Remember, before step 4, clean off all remaining residue on the stones and switch to the second tumbling bowl prior to starting Step 4. Step 4, the final polish, should be run for 2 days in 12-hour cycles, using 3 teaspoons of Raytech TL per cycle. If there is difficulty in polishing, you can try using plastic tumbling pellets, which cushion the stones. Plastic pellets are commonly sold at lapidary dealers or online. Upon completion of the polishing cycle, remove the stones from the bowls and wash away the residual polishing compound. After the compound is completely removed, set the stones aside to dry. Congratulations! You have completed the 4-step stone finishing process. Enjoy the fruits of your labor by adding the polished stones to your jewelry and craft-making hobbies. For more information about the Tumble Vibe 5 and other Raytech products, visit our website at www.raytechgemprocessing.com.